But at a certain point, you can't just let your opponent get all the panic points and then have a over 600 damage Stairmaster who happens to look like Play-Doh at the moment just crap all over your heart. That's unsanitary. I'm confident you'll get some weird disease from that. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. It's Sunday night, and Sunday night means we're talking Phobies games, but not mine. No, not mine. We're talking about viewer-submitted games for breakdowns. Let's see what craziness lies in store this time. What's going on, chat? How's everybody doing out there? Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you happen to be, whatever applies. So I didn't open my gift. We'll see what today's gift brings. I think somebody spoiled it in Discord already, but yeah. 100 coffee. Not an insignificant amount. Not an insignificant amount. Oh, and by the way, it's also the end of the week. 135 coffee beans on top of that. Get our little free jack opening. Gotta adjust the sound a little bit. It's a little loud for me. So hopefully I was editing a second video today. You've successfully predicted all the gifts until now, as in you didn't predict this one, Hakunay, or are you including you predicted today correctly? Just had some quesadillas. Now, I could go for a quesadilla. I haven't had one in a while. Well, I take that back. I had one a couple weeks ago, a few weeks ago. But prior to that, I hadn't had one for a very, very long time. So, but yeah, hopefully the audio issues, specifically my mic, are getting cleared up. I was editing one of the videos from last week today, and oh man, it was bad. It was real bad. Both the new mic and then when I plugged the old current mic in, it was still bad. I gotta play around with this. I just haven't had time. I'm trying to, once I get all of the videos scheduled through probably New Year's, then I'll have some extra time to sit down and really screw with this stuff. But quick aside, everybody, before we get into the actual content, I was accepted into the Phobies Content Affiliate Program, the content creator program, you might call it. Shout out to the Phobies team, and thank you for that. But the reason I'm telling you, everybody out there, dear viewer, dear listener, is to let everybody know that I do receive some compensation from the Phobies team as a result of being part of that program. Now, I loved Phobies before, and I still love Phobies now, and I expect I will still continue to love Phobies in the future. So look forward to more Phobies content coming from Random's Thoughts. So now, on with the show. So are we lined up for Pokemon tomorrow? I don't know. I'm still debating. Probably. I was actually literally thinking about that during the countdown, whether I want to do Choo Choo Charles offline or on a variety stream, and then also Duelist is there. I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I'm debating. Nobody really responded to when I put it out there, but if you're watching this on YouTube, if you're interested in Duelist content, let me know, because I love that game. I really miss that game. It is now back in an open beta. It is very much like Phobies, so I think there would be a lot of overlap for people, so I'd be very interested in doing it, both to, we'll say cross-pollinate. The people that are playing Duelist would probably be very interested in Phobies, and vice versa, so kind of a rising tide raises all ships sort of situation, we'll see. I made a list of gifts and all appeared from the list. Well, what are you predicting for tomorrow, Hakunay? What is tomorrow's gift going to be? I was trying to quickly think of basically combine your name, Hakunay, with Nostradamus, but I couldn't do it quickly enough in a way that I could even articulate, let alone it made sense. So I think the next gift will be tier 7-day XP booster, uncommon rare dupes, and maybe for Xmas, ultra rare dupes most likely are terrifying. Interesting. Yeah, I could see that. I could see like a pack of some kind being as the giveaway for on Christmas. In past, I predicted XP, common dupes, daily double at coffee. Well, did you predict them in sequence? Because I think that predicting the thing, saying that it's XP or that they give you upgrade cards is not, not to take away from your achievement, Hakunay, but like, I think a lot of people, if you were to pick things, those all seem very likely, you know what I mean? A lot of people in the server were hoping for horrific Dreadfuls and cool stuff. I was like, yeah, that's not happening. Those people are insane, Hakunay. If people were saying that they were going to get horrific Dreadfuls, like, look, is it impossible that Vendy's going to give us a Dreadful pack? No. Is there any world where I would bet money on that? Also no. Like, I'm sorry. By the time this goes live, I'll already know, but look, it's just not happening. Don't get your hopes up. I mean, there's a 0.1% that a Dreadful could pop out. I bet the last day present will be a scary pack. I could see that. Either a scary, maybe a terrifying. I don't picture either of these showing up. It's just, like I said, it's not impossible. It's not impossible, but it's not happening. You got Charon and 3K tiers pack. Nice. I feel better about Charon than most people, but I haven't used it in a while. I'm not going to lie. The devs really felt the Christmas magic. Probably was more weed than Christmas magic. Yeah, if that happened. Yeah. Scary pack luck has been horrible. I only get new phobies from scaries in over a month. Interesting. Or you haven't gotten any new phobies and scaries over a month. I mean, statistically, yeah, that shouldn't happen. Yeah, the devs, although doves, I guess, it's the season. If the devs gave us dreadful packs or even horrific packs, I feel like they were having a little too much eggnog. If that actually happens. All right, chat. Like I said, we're going to jump into some games. We don't have too many. Don't have too many. All right, here we go. First review of the night. Menace1400, our hero here on OI. Rocking, of course. We have a little cat fight going on. We got some holiday-themed Electric Cat versus some Razormouth over here. The notes here are gotta love the polls. So, chat, I'm saying get your clip buttons ready. I bet that's going to happen. Bet that's going to happen. You like the Primate number 9 avatar that... Wait, what do you mean it changed, Honda? What changed about the avatar? Alright, so openers here... A little weird. A little weird. One drop instead of your typical snowball or other thing to try and cap these points. Well, one drop, because we have the cat down here. I failed to point that out. Gets a Gonzo online early. This is very interesting. This is very interesting. In his profile, I had the Primate avatar, and the replay, it's Electric Cat. Oh, I see what you're saying. That's actually kind of weird that the game replay must save a strange amount of information. Like, I guess it makes sense because it's whatever you load in with, so then it just saves the replay, but it's weird that that's tied to the replay. If it's supposed to be, because here's the weird part, and the reason why I bring it up. We've been told in the past, hello, my friend with the long beard, welcome, Alan, welcome. So, in the past, we've been told by the devs, the reason that the patches break replays is because the game is effectively, like, playing the game out then. So, when they make certain changes, the game cannot continue, so it kills the replay. And that's why you can't go in there, because it would either crash or whatever would happen. Okay, fine. That somewhat implies that it's reading live information, which admittedly, if it was the avatar, why would that impact the game? But it's obviously not. The avatar's set in stone at the time that the game completes or loads in, I guess. Weird. I don't know. It's very interesting. I already know this. You reviewed one of my Muffin games when I became Brony. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, anyway, in the meantime, after my dissertation about replays and oddities about avatars of all the most important things for Phobies games, of course, we get a little creepy going. Or we had a little creepy going. Get a little murder wing. This is actually kind of ideal here, getting the connection onto this, because if you can trade creep for murder wing, you're generally pretty happy about it, especially this early on in the game, if it turns out that way. It's a little weird that they elected to leave this here, because this was obviously going to happen. Now, is this a bait? Because this is absolutely dead now, this murder wing. And given that Gonzo is both here and live, as far as juicing things goes with 7 keys, this has got to be a dead Ray Chargels. I have to assume this is a dead Ray Chargels. Speaking of Primate, get a little Primate action, get that leap going. And that is a cooked, barbecued, fried Choose your preparation of choice. Ray Chargels. Not a big fan of seafood, but, I mean, whatever. That's a good trade, ultimately. You got Murder Wing for Murder Wing and Ray Chargels. You got to be pleased with that. I don't know that you want to invest all those keys specifically in Primate and stuff, but, I mean, you got to do what you got to do. Stingray is delicious. I like it. Have you really had Stingray before, Anda? I've never. Interesting. What does it taste like? Was it prepared in a specific way, or was it, like, I'm curious about this. I don't know. I'm hungry right now, chat, so that may be part of it. Interesting. Okay. Okay. So we get a fetch. We've seen actually more fetch in recent games than I've seen in some time, and I'm not really clear on why. We get a little body block here from the cowbell. Obviously, fetch is eliminating the cat. And the cowbell's going to go down. Panic point advantage keeps trading back and forth. Bad guy, I don't know. They feel very scattered. I'm getting the sense that they're just not... Neither game plan from either player, but more so on bad guy's end, feels very coherent. Ooh, here's one of the yoinks. Get a little spider pullage. Get a double hit here. I assume we'll get a fireball. Maybe just a jar does it. And we get a cooked fetch. Get a cooked fetch. Undead dog. Undead don't tend to like being lit on fire. Most things do not enjoy being lit on fire. I mean, I'm not an expert. I can't speak for every organism in the universe, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say that most would prefer, given the option, not be set on fire. Just putting it out there. Feel free to correct me. We get, speaking of cooking other things, we have undercooked chicken showing up here. PSA 10 Mickey is about to sell for over $1,200. Why? Wait, that was the Mickey that is not going to be in the set, though, right? Or did they... Because one of them, I thought, out of the promos... We're talking about Lorcana here. I thought one of the promos was not going to be in the set. I could be wrong. Maybe all of them are. Oh, that's interesting, Anda. Several of my games, when I review them, they bug and end earlier in the replay showing different MVPs. Wait, what? That's weird, Alan. I've never heard of that. Have you reported that bug? Funky Chicken inbound? Yep. Everything's going to be in the set. Yeah, so I assume there'll be alternate art or something. I assume there'll be alternate art, because otherwise, that's just ridiculous. Because Fowl might have a new target in that Alice store. But, like, the Fowl was here pre-Alistor. Speaking of Alistor, we do in fact get an Alistor. Panic point advantage is in favor of our hero, and we get my previous favorite phobie in Erratic. I don't really understand the Erratic here. This map especially, like, okay, are they going to march it up to the heart and try and heart punch? Because I don't think that's going to work out. You might not have to record it if you're getting a bug, Alan. As long as you report it, they might be able to pull it from logs. So speaking of yoinks... Hold on, we gotta redo this. Give Menace their credit. Look at this. So we got a yoink earlier that led to a cooked fetch. We're about to see another yoink here onto some funky chicken. Oh, the Gonzo buffing Giraffe Bachelor. How often do you see that? A little Alistor beatdown going. And I guess Fowl got cooked. I guess Fowls got cooked. Seems good. Cat's here. Keep the scream going. Chomp chomp. Well, welcome, Doctor. Thank you. Thank you. We definitely will. But welcome. Why'd they waste the disease? I don't know. You got me. What's the bug you found on Mount Blight, Anda? Ooh, we get some woolly bully action. Speaking is getting tough, chat. It's getting tougher and tougher. So we've gotten 2 pulls in this game with Spider. Both led to immediate kills. First you let Fowl die for 1 key, then you play Sheep. Realistically, this game is over. Exactly what could they have played for 4 or 5 keys? Sometimes, chat. I pause the game a lot, and I get very lucky with some of these things. This could be the thumbnail. So I don't know what bad guy could possibly spawn now that could do anything. Now, realistically, I don't think that Menace here, that you want the Woolly Bully, but I mean, it's fine. I need to level up Woolly Bully and try it again, because Bad Omen has kind of put me on, and I've talked about this before, put me on this idea of utilizing the power downs more. Oh my god, is the Stairmaster gonna die? Oh my god. Chat. Charlotte here is going ham. It was the only other famous spider I could think of other than, like, Shelob. We could go with Shelob because that is a 3rd Phobie takedown in this game alone. That is just brutal. Brutal. You found the bug when you were making the Klepto Rickroll video? How many people did you post that to the main Discord on? How many people did you get with it? We're watching just the demise. Nice. We're just watching the demise of bad guy. There's no hope for bad guy here. Like, let's be real. There was no hope several turns ago. Well played, Menace. Just absolutely dominating this game. It started with that Murder Wing takedown. Replying to me with their frustration, I imagine. I wonder how many people... When was Rickrolling people popular? Wasn't it like 2012? Something like that? I don't know. I could be wrong. I feel like it's maybe it was later? We actually get a pull on the heart. Even Eric Cake and Talarian, nice. Well, because for them... For anybody who doesn't know, Eric Cake is one of the devs. Talarian, I think, is as well, or they might be a mod. I'm not sure what their role is exactly. But I wonder if they're like, wait a minute, did we screw up? And nobody's reported this, like they thought it was normal, and then they click on it, and then you get them. Like, I'm sure they knew it was going to be a joke, just not the nature of it, but that's actually really funny. I remember it being a thing even earlier than that, like 20-aughts. It might have been. I don't remember. Because for a year or so, maybe even longer than that, it was everywhere. I was getting Rickrolled in 07 or 08. It could be. There was a while where Rickrolling people was like the thing to meme people. And then it's kind of dropped off, but it's had somewhat of a renaissance as a meme because every once in a while you see somebody reference the song lyrics or something. Not necessarily in as explicit a way that Anda did with, like, literally Rickrolling people, but you see allusions to it. Sounds like a glitch, less of a bug if it's not stuck or every game you start. I mean, it could be. It could be. I mean, when I say bug or I think bug, it's just any unintended behavior within the game client, whether it's in the game, it's the animations, this screen, whatever. I'm using bug very broadly. All right, chat. Review number 1 in the books. That was a fun one. There were a lot of polls there. Definitely a lot of polls. I mean, we didn't see any that actually dunked something into the abyss, but, like, I don't know. It felt like you could feel the morale from bad guy breaking past a certain point. You know what I mean? Like, they just decided that, okay, the game is over. This is the kind of stuff 12 kills from mob, or 12 keys, yeah. I was gonna say 12 kills might be a little extreme, but like, you could, I kind of want to go back and edit that as a video and then put like a kill counter in the corner. And then maybe like the GTA wasted every time something dies pops up. That would be kind of fun. The problem is when I have these ideas, I don't have, like, I've literally never played a Grand Theft Auto. I know it from memes and stuff, as in like that particular screen and other videos, but I don't have the video or audio to do that. I'd have to like go buy the game, go intentionally die, record that, and then use it or something. Not as impressive as my 14-key Graylien. Well, this was quantity. They got more Phobies in this. Like, they got 3 Phobies. You only got 2. So it depends on what measure of the scoreboard we're going by. Keys, yes. At least I'm trusting chat on the key count, because I didn't really pay attention to it. I was just more enthralled by other things that were going on. Alright, so we got a dogewhal game. Alright, so we're zoning in here. Our hero this time in the orange trunks is dogewhal on detention. Average arena annihilation. I appreciate the alliteration. I don't know why I just did that, chat. People that only listen to the stream at the recap are going to have to go back and be like, what was happening there? They're going to have to look at the screen. And now that I'm saying it, they're definitely going to go back and look. Yeah, I think Boomer is immune to teleport. The old switcher you. But in the meantime, as we're loading into this game, we actually got a snowball. We got a snowball opener on this map, which is rare. So it's strange to me that, I don't know, there's, as common as the snowball openers are in general, it's interesting to me, I think is a better way to put it than strange, the maps that just kind of, you don't see snowball. Yeah, snowball will happen on this map, but it's not common to have snowball immediately cap a point. And I wonder if I should go back to doing it, because I immediately went to the cassowary thing, it guards 2 points, that sort of stuff. I don't know. That's a good question, Kratosss. I don't have the answer. But in the meantime, we get a little trap standoff, and notably at a dogewhal who was it in chat that hated Stairmaster and was always championing Cyclops? Because I'm guessing it's not dogewhal, because in fact we're seeing a Stairmaster that is on the board. And also, chat, notably because this trap just came out, I think people have caught on to not putting traps directly on panic points. I'm seeing way, way more from people plopping them out on the board. And especially in this map, this is not an unreasonable position. Although, admittedly, you're just trading traps back and forth. So, Noxious. Get a little Noxious action. Given that it's maxed out Phobies, there can't be a healing Phobie yet. Could put in some work. But I imagine that we're going to see a takedown on, say, this cowbell in short order. Which then means, are we... like, this could come in alone to damage this, really not be that threatened, because the positioning that'll be required in order to make something happen is going to be very difficult for Doge, and therefore, there's time to get a healer out. You can move up, punch it, and then just back off. But instead, we get a tickles, really. The bad guy is just daring dogewhal to come in with this. Dogewhal, in fact, does not bite. Well played. Is the tickles going to go up here? No, it's just going to reclaim. Okay. Very patient game coming out of both players. 10 keys to 9. Both players have banked up for a while. So do we see some Chuck? Not Chuck. Get a little, not giraffe action. This meme is going to become like Baba Haha and some of the other Phobie nicknames that we have. Ooh. Get a little boss action. Boss needs to do some legs, though. He's looking a little skinny on the bottom. He's got the bulk up top. I mean, Boss has got the bulk up here, but my man's got to get in the gym and hit some legs. Get some leg presses, get some squats in. Thanks to my bachelor, Giraffe Bachelor now exists. Exactly. What would you say your favorite fear/phobia is? That's a good question. It comes up every once in a while, Doctor. I don't know right now. We'd have to go through. Off the top of my head, I'm not sure. Because there's different categories, right? Like, my favorite phobia or best phobia, as in the one that produces the most results for me, versus, oh, bad guy. Is this game really going to end? We'll talk about the other comments later, because we got to focus on this. This was an annihilation. Bad guy just played way... I'm often saying that patience is the key to Phobies games, right? You need to be patient. If you rush things, that's when bad things happen. But at a certain point, you can't just let your opponent get all the panic points and then have a over 600 damage Stairmaster who happens to look like Play-Doh at the moment just crap all over your heart. That's unsanitary. I'm confident you'll get some weird disease from that. I mean, assuming you survive the fact that it was able to access your heart to crap on it. But that's a different kind of talk. Anyway, Doge pops out a Miss Moffat because why not? Like, who cares? It doesn't matter. Now, bad guy here could body block or try, but they realistically have to body block twice because of the Miss Moffat. But they're just saying no? This is a bold move, Cotton. You heard what, DT? Yeah, great boss, but yeah, it's like, that's a nice boss you got there. It'd be a shame if something happened to your heart. This is not even a game. This was just like... I was joking around with chat, because the first few turns were just, okay, we're getting the board set up, and we're moving around and stuff. And then I panned back to the game, and I'm like, Jesus, what the hell happened? The game is over. Yeah, that was just a beating. That was an absolute beating. Well done, Doge. And not even a chuck required. You didn't even activate the Noxious, did you? Oh, Stairmaster looking like Play-Doh. Yeah, I guess I could see how you could hear that, but Play-Doh is what I meant, as in the children's clay toy. The most wonderful time of the year. Want a Sprite cranberry? What? What? I poisoned Boss and Snowball walked to Clinico, then I killed his heart. It really wasn't even anything, like, I don't have any comments about that game because it was just... Bad guy just made some errors, we'll say. There were a few things that could have gone differently. And just like that, chat, we're like halfway through the list already. I'm not even joking. All right. This one. All right, so hero now is Pancake, yet another fan of the Electric Cat Santa hat. So the notes here for this particular game loading into Megalo is your fancy keys have... No, I gotta do it in a different voice. Your fancy keys have no power here. Your opponent just waited, nothing happened. I mean, yeah, they kind of just allowed it to happen. Yeah, but do either of those individuals, Atona, look like that Squish Stairmaster? Last night, one of my Kaboom reels got 3.3K views in less than 30 minutes. Nice. Thanks to the algorithm, I hope many people try Phobies. I don't understand which platform was it on? Was it on YouTube, Anda? Or was it on TikTok? Or where'd you post it? Yes, I did, Kratosss. I changed the name of the... see the hydrate. I changed the name of the review channel because I'm combining them. I removed the highlights channel. So from here on out, everybody will just submit it in the same thing, and you just note that it's a highlight in there, basically. For anybody watching this on YouTube, if you want to submit a game for the game breakdown night, then hit up the links in the description, join the Discord. As I was just describing, there's a channel, there's a Google form. It'll load it into a spreadsheet for me, so it's nice and clean, and then that way we can load anything and load it up. If you want to submit a highlight, just put in there that it's a highlight and there's a specific turn. There you go. It's that simple. It's that easy. They are requests, Alan. So if you hit up the Random Thoughts Discord, !Discord, or like I was just explaining to the future YouTube viewers, hopefully, there's a link in the description of the YouTube videos. Once you're in there, there's a channel that explains how to submit them. So, keeps it simple that way. Hey, Cutspawn, thank you for the follow. Much appreciated. This is one of your favorite philosophers of all time, not because he's particularly correct about much, but because he was the first to make an argument for, because fuck you, I'm lazy. I'll have to ask a friend of mine, because he was a classics major back in college. So I usually troll him with jokes like, have you ever heard of the great philosopher Phobies? See if chat knows that one. Anyway, in the meantime, we're getting fairly standard stuff in the beginning of this game after we paused for a bit. Yep, you got it. I mean, it's a pretty common one, right? I mean, so I take it back. I realized I paused on a later turn than I thought I did. We actually had some significant banks, so I take it back. Not really standard. We had reasonable openers, but we got immediate banks into, well, 9 keys, or 6, excuse me, for this, and then you got 3 back, and 8 from bad guy. So we'll see what bad guy answers this Crushmore with. This is interesting, like, I don't mind Crushmore in general. Crushmore is a solid enough phobia to begin with. It has value on this map. We've seen Gravedigger. I've used it. DT tends to champion it. But why the Crushmore instead of an earlier Gravedigger? If you're going to bank, you could have the crushing ability. I mean, yes, it's consolidated where you get the lob, the range, and the terraform, as opposed to just the Gravedigger ability, and then it's a melee phobia still. So instead of banking again, our hero goes for Bow Mangles, locking down this 2-to-1 panic point advantage. I don't really know. Like, bad guy could go in here, but they're going to have a bad day for the most part. Thematic Gin Sting. So here's where things start getting messy. The cat was a mistake from which player? Which player are you saying, Hakunay? I mean, without knowing the collections, it's difficult to say, oh, well, they should have just banked and then got this other thing online. But right now, it feels like bad guys should just commit to a push and start removing things from the board. Pancake blundered a cat at the beginning, Klepto Snowball. Oh, I see what you're saying. I thought you meant this cat standoff here. I might have missed the comment from earlier. Speaking of Snowball, there it is. So this is what bad guy needs to do, is just stage this. And now it's, okay, this is a board that is in favor of bad guy. More Phobies. They're all threatening. Well, Snowball's powered down at the moment. The panic point advantage is in favor of our hero, but the follow-up is Quagmire, which is a stream favorite. It's very much a stream favorite. The Snot Monster, in fact, is kind of a big deal. We get a little more bees action. But clearly not enough damage to truly threaten anything here, or bad guy would have stayed in. Now, one thing they could have done... Oh, this isn't that... This was already damaged. So it's down to 1,800 health. I was going to say they could stand in there and then, like, move in the Klepto. So, like, they'd have to swing the Snowball down. Klepto, they kill the Cassowary, but then they probably lose Like, they're going to lose too much on the return. At this point, well, bad guy still, I was going to say bad guy's in a really bad spot, but 7 keys left means there's still a lot of things that could hit the board and help them out of this spot. Plus, once they're not taking a ton of damage, they're not under an enormous amount of pressure, they have time to stage whatever it is that they want to try and make happen. And what they want to make happen is a Rocket Man. I'm not going to lie, chat. I did not see that coming. Hey, Scrungle, what's good? Love you join and go, D's nuts. It's funny because mere moments before that, you missed a D's nuts joke. This is Luffy's firstborn child? True. But like I said, bad guy doesn't have to rush this, hypothetically. As long as our hero does not take too much damage onto something, they should be fine. And here, bad guy seems to have overstepped their bounds. Because I imagine this is a dead Klepto. We're going to find out in like 2 seconds. And down goes Klepto. Follow-up Snowball. So can bad guy do anything? Like, they probably kill this, walk this in, freeze one of these two. But which one? That's the big question. Who are you freezing here? For a half a second, I thought they were going to fireball the Quagmire, and I was going to go, no! So this is interesting. I don't know. For anybody, whoever was asking, yes, clearly Quagmire still works. Yeah, this is kind of what I was afraid of, is that all this damage is still going to go down on the Gin Sting. Would the Gin Sting have lived if you didn't, like, if you froze this instead? 532, 1,000, 15, say 16, 21. This probably lives if you freeze this. Thematic would live if opponent did a body block with a snowball. Yeah, that was the other thing I was going to point out, but you beat me to it, Hakunay, is that the snowball could have gone in here. I don't know that I would have hit this either. I probably would have softened up the Innocuous. The reason being is you're not killing this turn, and eliminating the Innocuous then is probably only a single shot from the Gin Sting later on. And you're going to have to run the Gin Sting anyway. I don't know. You could still hit this or whatever. Even, hell, you could hit the Quagmire if you really wanted to. But, yeah, you needed to protect the Gin Sting. Losing the Gin Sting here is clearly going to... It's one of those scenarios where it's just a matter of, how do I lose the game? And in this case, losing your Gin Sting is how you lose the game. Because you're not... No, you just use Fireball, so the Snowball has to wait. You have a melee Rocket Man that's already used its freeze. This thing's about to unfreeze. Not going to go well. How's Scarlet and Violet going? Pretty well. We still have a lot of game left. Still have a lot of game left. We're actually talking about trying to get other variety games on there. I'm seriously considering playing Choo Choo Charles offline, so that way we can get right into Duelist. But we'll see. The sound is weird on this replay, chat. It keeps, like, fading out, and I'm not sure why. Quagmire frozen doing its healing animation. Wait, if you're frozen, how are you moving? It's snot. As the ice melts, it's like, you know, it's somewhat liquid. It's like oozing into all the cracks in the ice. We'll call it that. We'll also call it a victory. Good job there, Pancake. That felt... Yeah, it felt very much like bad guy made some plainly grave errors there. There were opportunities for bad guy to take over that game later on. But well played by Pancake. Very much well played. Sometimes the animations bug. I've frozen Noxious once and he still has a flying animation. That's always been a thing. Like, there's always been weird, quirky animation bugs. I don't care. It's usually funny to me. Like, it almost feels like a bonus less than a bug. I don't know if anybody else feels that way, but when I see funny stuff like that in Phobies, in other games, I'm not saying this is universal, in other games I have felt differently. Because, for example, if it's if it's a very visually intensive game, like, I need to be able to see something in order to play the game, like pick out where an enemy is, whether it's a PvP game or it's a PvE game, it doesn't matter. That sort of thing will bother me. But in Phobies, it's like, okay. Like, he's flying while frozen. I can see that he's frozen. It's clearly still frozen. It's fine. How do you freeze Snowball? It's on fire like boss. When you have enough ice. Like, you just overwhelm it with ice. Still waiting on the vote for Eternal Cylinder. I know that's on the list. There's a lot of things. Maybe in the new year, because the schedule is going to be a little different. I got to see how I'm going to do this stuff. I've talked about it before. I don't want to do the YouTube videos the same way I do. Maybe the stream format changes, like we do 2 variety days, something like that. The problem is, so as a general streaming thing, so people are aware, like, it is generally recommended to, as if you want to grow, that is, stick to specific things, like stay on one game, play one game, because then people know you as, well, this is what they do. And the problem is, if you develop yourself to that, and you switch to another game, and I mentioned this before in the context of Pokemon, Pokemon is big, right? A lot of people watching Pokemon streams, there's a lot of people watching Pokemon videos, there's just a lot of people in the Pokemon community. The videos and streams do awful, like horrendous, compared to Phobies. Because I'm not a Pokemon person. So now I'm just kind of hurting myself on multiple fronts by doing it, but I want to, so I'm going to. And that's kind of what it comes down to. I don't really care that, I mean, I care, but it doesn't bother me. But I also am beholden to do and accomplish certain things for Phobies, part of the content affiliate program. Like, I'm required to. And I don't want to make that sound negative because it's like, oh, well, I have to play Phobies. I don't want to. I want to do this other stuff. No, that's not the case. I want to play Phobies, but there's just not enough hours to do everything. Plus, the way I'm playing through Pokemon introduces other issues where I'm not just speedrunning it. Or even, realistically, I'm not even playing at a normal pace. I'm playing very slowly. We should have probably already completed the game by now. Legitimately. But because I'm dicking around, we're wandering around trying to find stuff, we're wandering around trying to do stuff. That's what it comes down to. And it's fine. But it is infringing on playing other games at this stage, so that's why I'm debating for tomorrow doing something else. I mentioned it in Discord and nobody really had any thoughts, so I'll probably just figure it out tomorrow. Say, getting Taco's Evo is important. I mean, we'll see. We haven't really used them. Like, Taco is okay, but I have no idea how good they are. I do kind of want to try and force progression from here on out. What about longer Pokemon streams? Or Five Nights at Freddy's? A couple people were suggesting that during spooky season, Five Nights at Freddy's. I mean, I'm not suffering for a lack of games. It's possibly a lack of games that the stream regulars are interested in. For example, like, I would play Darktide streams on the big nights, Fridays and Saturdays, where I have more time. Sundays and Mondays are shorter streams. But the problem there is, I don't know if the stream even really gives a damn about Darktide. You know what I mean? I've been thinking about trying to record some videos, like me playing through, record it, and then chop it up, and then just load it as a video on YouTube, but we'll see. Right now, the big things that I absolutely want to get on stream in the near future are, obviously, Phobies. Still doing Phobies. Phobies is not going away. Duelist. I really want to get Duelist on here. I really want people to see it. I want to know if people like it. Pokemon, because I want to finish it, and I would like to do some Pokemon endgame content. As in, well, I'll have to shell out the bucks to do the online component and battle people that way. I want to see if people like that. And there's a list, like, I actually have a written list of other games in my, like, there are some hidden channels in the Discord that I keep notes about the streams, and I keep notes about, because it's just easier, and I have Google Docs and a bunch of scraps of paper. I have notes everywhere, because I have to write things down so I remember them. And I'm not exaggerating, there's at least 10 or 15 games that I want to get on stream. And I'm not, like I said, exaggerating. There's just not enough time. There's just not enough time. So, we're going to try our best, but we'll see. Every time I play Unbearable, enemy just plays on Noxious. I hate it. It does suck. Unbearable's in a weird spot. Anybody know what Unbearable's base damage is compared to other stuff at level 1? Offhand. I don't know if DT's in chat. But, like, how much better is Unbearable damage-wise than, say, Spud or one of the turrets or something like that? It's 375. I think that's the same as Stabby. That's not good. So, if it's the same as Stabby, that means that the dev team feels that Lob and Undead... Well, okay, so I think we can make the assumption, and again, content affiliate, but that I don't know this stuff. They don't tell me this. I'm making some conjecture here. So, let's assume that the dev team does not change a phobie based on its species. So, if you're undead, that doesn't count extra than mechanical, or dimensional, or whatever. It presumably influences certain numbers. You know, if you have a mechanical phobie, the damage has to be lower, right? Because it has higher HP. Something, or the movement, something has to give, right? There's going to be some drawback, and notably, if you have a high HP undead, you probably have to have low damage, because otherwise the thing will be damn near unkillable, right? Imagine if Unbearable was a 3 key. Well, that's the thing, is I think the Lob is what pushed this to 4 keys. Because otherwise, it's basically in line with Bow Mangles, right? And Stabby. So if we assume that the Lob is what pushed it to 4 keys, I mean, lobbing is good, but I don't know. Unbearable feels like it almost warrants a slight buff, damage output-wise, I would think, but maybe that's too good. Let me know down in the comments, YouTube. What do you feel about Unbearable? Because right now, I don't know. I used to use Unbearable as the anti-Stabby a lot of the time. Namely on maps like RCO, but technically is one of the 4 costs with the most HP as well as a tank. It is. It absolutely is. I mean, it's a turret, right? It's just a 4-cost turret. And I think the tempo lost from trying to bank for it is problematic. I don't know. I don't mind it. I tend to use it on RCO. I used to use it a lot on the big house. Detention doesn't really work, because it's just going to have to be exposed. Because of its immobility, near immobility, it's tough to find scenarios where you can safely lob and it's not exposed so that, oh yeah, it has a ton of HP. Oh wait, it took 1 billion. Because it's not going to run in there, hit, and then get out again. Be like, oh, well, like with Pterodactyl, you can fly in, poke something, heal, and then fly away or something. Unbearable, once it commits in and is in range, it's in range of virtually everything. Only 1,800? I mean, that's still a lot. Yeah, I actually have... my level 10 Honey Bear has more HP than the level 12 Unbearable. But this level 9 Slammerhead is also cool. Maybe it isn't... I mean, it's one of the higher HP Phobies, but it's not... Clearly not the highest. At 4 cost, I mean. Which is interesting. Maybe it does need more... Maybe instead of damage, more HP? I don't know. It feels like it needs something. Because right now, it feels somewhat lackluster. But, again, maybe its niche is just... You play it on those couple of maps, and that's where it shines. Same HP as Erratic. Interesting. It has it. Does it? I don't know. I'm not really, like... I'm not quite sure how to articulate it, because it feels lackluster, but I don't care enough to say that it needs, like, in the true sense of the word, need a buff. There are things that need a buff, like Rusty. However, Unbearable doesn't need it. But Unbearable often... let's put it this way. I almost never consider Unbearable outside of, like, 2 maps. It never even enters my mind as something to put on the board. It's just never a consideration. And that's fine. Like, I don't have a problem with that, but... Kaboom and Rusty have the same HP. My level 1 Cerberus has more HP than my Chuck. That's called balance. But yeah, I don't know. I very rarely... I never even look at Unbearable. Which feels unfortunate. But again, not every Phobie needs to be playable at all times. Not every Phobie needs to be good in general, let alone good, you know, a ton of the time or anything like that. Alright, chat. We'll do an ANDA game, and then I'm going to take a quick break. Alright. Cerberus. Although it looks like... I know this is not what you wrote, Kratosss, but it looks like you wrote Seabreeze. That's also not how you would spell Seabreeze, but when I first looked at what you typed, that's what it sounded like in my head. You want to buff for Rusty? Make it so its ability is AoE. No, I don't want it to die. Rusty shouldn't die when it uses its ability. Alright, here we go. We got an ANDA game loading into Moai. What are the notes for this game? The notes are, in fact, I have Kaboom and Poison Ivy rival with this person. Well, I think Lemon West, chat will correct me, but Lemon West is infamous? Famous? I don't really know whether you would consider it infamous, but they are definitely known for Poison Ivy, so we'll see. Or at least that's how chat is pointing it out to me. So we get, this is actually an interesting response going second. This is the first time that I've seen Hevo Cat as the response. I don't know if I really like it because this Snowball... Actually, no, the Snowball probably can't. Because hypothetically, bad guy could go... You know, if the Snowball ran it... Well, let me click on it. 973 health. If you had a high enough Murder Wing, the combination of this and Murder Wing could spell doom for this Snowball, so it can't run in there. Just downloaded Duelist. Probably won't get around to trying until tonight. I'm mildly hopeful that it won't suck. I really like that game. I'm very curious what other people's thoughts are. I don't remember the card acquisition model, like how quickly you can build up a collection, but let me know what your thoughts are. We get a Gin Sting, and then we got the Hevo, as mentioned, down there. And of course, here is the aforementioned Poison Ivy. Chat, I really do want to get Poison Ivy, but when I do, it's going to take months for that damn thing to finally get to a level that's you. People are still talking about Rusty. Yes, I know Rusty. If Rusty's ability changed... Okay. If Rusty's ability changed so that when it popped, it didn't die. It just held you in place. it's going to die to whatever it froze in place. But that means that that thing is not attacking something else. So that means that if you snapped onto a ranged phobie, it's not attacking something else. Now, of course, if attacking something else was a better play, then your opponent's going to do it anyway. But that would happen with the current Rusty. I think it's just a buff that would help it. I understand thematically why Rusty dies. I don't think it's necessary from a gameplay perspective right now. I don't know. Yeah, Hakunay, if you got a game, just throw it in the list. Stop and block is too much for a 2K. It might be, but as it is right now, it's awful. And I think the whole intent is they don't want it to do damage, or otherwise the damage would have been there already. I mean, you can make the same argument for it not surviving. What I'm thinking is when you attach it, it can't move either. Like, the Rusty is literally attached to the other phobie, so neither of them can move. So it doesn't body block you because you can move through it, but it does occupy that space, so you wouldn't necessarily be able to walk up a melee in that position to hit something. I don't know. Rusty is gotta be... There's a cool trail here. A little 3D effect. Rusty has got to be the worst phobie in the game. And I know there was somebody that was trying to make it work months ago and had some cute plays on Xylo, if I remember. Maybe this might sting a little. I can picture the color palette of the map. It was definitely one of the Screaming Thumb maps, Screaming Toes. But it's like, okay, that's cute, but could have, like, done anything else, too. I don't know. The Pog Stone map? Yeah. So it's a glob that you can't move is what you're trying to say? Sort of, yeah. I'm playing Rusty if I have the chance. I haven't even seen Rusty, so it could be Rusty. I mean, I have a hard time believing that anything in the game is worse than Rusty. From a Rusty is just... And when I'm saying worse, again, this is supposed to be... It is super situational. But it just feels like the scenarios where Rusty matters is going to be exceptionally rare. Mistakes may have been made here. I mean, Rusty is on my list of things that I want to acquire to try. And try and... I tend to not, and I mentioned this actually in the video I was editing today, but I don't really think about phobies that I don't have. If we're in a game and we're looking at one of them, like the Poison Ivy stuff, okay, yes. But I'm not right now theory crafting how to make Poison Ivy work, because I just don't have the time to do that. It seems silly. And it's similar to Rusty. Like, maybe Rusty's fine, but I don't have it, so I'm not going to waste time doing it. Squiggles is worse? I don't think so. I mean, Squiggles is kind of bad, but I don't think so. Swear to God, if I open some big packs and get Rusty, no, stabby. Alright, so getting back to the game, mistakes were made as mentioned. There was a sniped Inoculus here. I don't hate the Finnegan here. Level 11 Finnegan. And Finnegan's damage sucks. This is a level 11 Finnegan. And it's doing way less damage. Granted, that's level 14, but the damage on Finnegan, the damage output is just awful. But sniping this Inoculus is a big deal. It's a big deal. I think that really sets our opponent back. Ooh, so we finally see Piscetti. This is something I've personally been reluctant to do, but I'm interested to see how this plays out, because you get the disease immediately. It's one of the few that will allow... Well, there's only 3 to begin with, but Foul does have a warm-up, and Smiley wouldn't be able to reach. We'll have to see how this does. Hey, Savadas, what's good? We do get a dead poison ivy here. No itching sensation for Anda. And we get an attractor. Anda, you fiend. Alright, so I was kind of expecting the trap here, truthfully. I know there's a chance he's going to spawn Piscetti, but it's still killing an Oculus. Well, that's why I'm curious to see how this plays out, because... So, this is a... We should have looked at this earlier. It's a level 8. It's doing 302 damage base, which means that this is taking 453. Assuming no other damage, it's going to take a while for this to die. Is that really worth it? I don't know. It feels like the 6 keys that are invested in this Piscetti are just not worth it. And I was thinking about this earlier today, because I was actually thinking about Piscetti offline, and I just don't feel like... it was within the context of poison and disease as a whole, where they are just inherently weaker mechanics because you are behind on the tempo of the abilities. You invest now for a payoff later, whereas you could invest now for a payoff now, in a lot of cases. Now, would they have killed... Ooh, we got a brony. I'll finish my thought. But would you have killed the Crushmore with whatever they were going to pop out? Probably not. But if you're already investing for later, is getting the Piscetti online what you want? I don't know. But Anda's been answering with a number of mechanicals. And we're going to get the cleanup here on the poison. The attractor effectively locks down this top half of the board. We get the pull forward. So, if I recall correctly, the dimensional pull behaves differently, because otherwise, if it pulled towards the heart, shouldn't it have pulled down? Look at this Jin Sting. Look at this Jin Sting. This Jin Sting is hilarious. I love it. This might be the thumbnail. I didn't put cat there because I think there may be a trap, but there's no trap in the middle panic point. Oh, okay. Wait, you did put cat there. Alright, so bad guy is going to have positioning here in order to... Because remember, no line of sight. This is a good brony. Locks this stuff down, but the boop, still live. The yoink, still live. So Anda does have some options as far as making some of this stuff happen. But... Bad guy's going to try and go for a Heart Rush. Almost 9k health here. I don't know that you can win this Heart Rush. Well, maybe you can, because this Crushmore is not going to live for much longer. If I kill Bachelor my cat will die from poison and Bachelor death damage. Oh, you're saying... I see what you're saying, Anda. So, what Anda's saying is that he thought there was a trap here, didn't get the cat pulled because... What phobia is this? Yeti? I didn't see how many keys Anda had, but Anda was saying that he thought there was a trap here, so didn't attack the Bachelor because the combination of the Bachelor damage and the trap would have yielded a dead cat and no panic point transfer. The way it worked out this way, cat ended up, and obviously there wasn't a trap anywhere. Oh, this is Snowball? Okay. Yeah, it is Yeti. Chat trolling me. So Anda pulling back, panic point advantage, so I get it. Get the body block from AWOL. How often does that happen? Piscetti's attack animation is wild. So despite that enormous advantage, I mean, that's 1,000 damage right there, not counting Piscetti's significant damage output. The pull in this case is on a perfect 45-degree diagonal, yes. And the tile count length is the same in both situations, correct. Pulls do prioritize horizontal direction first, and it checks for diagonals. In other words, all regular. So the question is that true? I mean, it's obviously true now that we witnessed it. But I thought the devs had said that dimensional pulls behave differently than other pulls, like regular pulls. Clearly not, based on what we just witnessed. But that's part of the reason I was questioning it. See, yeah, but Kratosss, the Squiggles loses. we know the Squiggles lose. Said polls in general. Okay, I thought in that, because it's been a while since I looked at it, I thought that comment said that the dimensional yoinks behave differently, but that's fine. Get a little droney action. So now it's a 4-to-1 panic point advantage, and 55 to 48. Bunch of damage, including a Squiggles right up on the heart. Spooky scary. Ah! I love this, chat. This is actually pretty cool. Like, look at this. Just the animation. There's no attack. It just, like, whoosh. That was super funny. I don't know why that was so funny. Well, I know why it was so funny to me, but, like, that was just so dumb. That was so dumb. Not on, like, bad guy making a mistake part, although they might have. I'm not concerned with that right now. It's funnier to me. The 0 damage boop. Like, that's so good. But we get the Anda signature here. Anda, was this calculated? Because your heart... Oh, 1,700 health. It looked lower. It looked lower for a second. Only a 3-to-1 panic point advantage. Let's see what terror Anda wreaks. Not calculated at all. Down goes Squiggles. The Anda signature. Kaboom! Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And just like that, Anda has control of the board. Just like that. We've seen a lot of wild brony plays. This one didn't quite get there. Didn't quite get there. Wait, did a tractor pull anything this entire game? I'm not even joking. Did a tractor even pull anything this game? GG. Well played, Anda. Very well played. That was fun. That was fun. I'm going to have to remember to pull the clip. I clipped it for the boop. Because that was just a funny boop. It's just so silly looking. Because there's no, there's no screen shake. There's no pop-up for damage. It's just whoosh it. Yeah, a tractor didn't pull at all. Who needs the pull? A tractor is broken on its own. No need. No need. Alright, so our hero here in the orange trunks, once again, zoning into Moai, is Renamon. Rocking the Grimes avatar, the classic. I guess I submit a game because I haven't put one in a while. A good a reason as any. Holy crap, already, chat. What is happening? What is happening right now, chat? It's funny, because I was editing the videos where I didn't have the camera on, so you couldn't see some of my mannerisms. But I'm literally scratching my head, because we have turn 1 bank from blue player, and then turn 1 a tractor. Like... I don't even know what to say. Somebody who's watching this, because I know there are a number of people that listen to the stream recaps as like podcasts. They're just going to have like a solid 45 seconds of silence. What is happening? I can't wait to see the rest of this game. That's why I love Phobies, love the game for this kind of stuff. Hey, it happens. Imagine if Cerberus hits a Phobie. Honestly, I could see it, because if Cerberus comes down this way... 2, 3... Yeah, it's out of range, so it's going to, like, walk this way. Then any yoinks on this Cerberus are only going to pull it closer to opposing Phobies. Just Dogs Gaming? Okay. Wow, that was kind of funny. It changed from the ethereal form to this. Imagine if they're literally doing a challenge where they only use dog phobies. How funny would that be, chat? I don't think there are enough dog phobies to do it on a big map, but you might be able to comprise a team of, excuse me, strictly dog and honorary good boy phobies on a small map. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Next up is Fetch. See some Slammerhead or Finnegan. This is what I was talking about, like the Yoink, but this Gravedigger's just going to lock them out. And then I have bad news for Bad Guy. They can walk over here and, like, take the scenic route around. But it's going to lead to some very uncomfortable Yoink situations for Bad Guy. Now, they could arguably just try and punch through this, because they should be able to do it pretty quickly. Yeah, I mean, look at that. There goes the statue. What level is this Cerberus? Level 8 Cerberus, alright. And Hiva, alright, it's not strictly dog gaming. Broke the good boy trend, but it's also a 2-0 panic point advantage. Notably, none of these three have been capped. This is so weird. That Hivo doesn't look like a dog. He's a dog at heart. Believe it or not, this is one of Dr. Robotnik's machines, and there's a dog inside controlling the Hivo. Bet you didn't think of that one. Yeah, you got a little Octonauty going, no, no, no. Chat, what is this game is like, okay, we're just gonna pick all the weirdest phobies. Flesh crawler? Really? I don't even know why. Like, double pull is a problem. Yeah, Bad Guy's in trouble. Like, I don't know what's happening in this game. Triple pulls? Oh my god. Get wrecked. Oh my god. Flesh crawler's a former good boy. Bonk. Down goes the cat. Chad, this is... Remember the game earlier that dogewhal submitted? And he's like, yeah, this is just a beating. This is a beating, chat. I want to see an enormous chain pull. And, like, yoink something... Like, I want to see the... Oh my god, chat. You gotta see this. Look at this pull. Or should I say... Pulls. This set of chain pulls is savage. Oh, man. That just... That hurts. Renamon, you monster. 2.0 blundered? How so? I mean, I don't know if it matters. You fool, you fell victim to one of the classic blunders. Yeah, I mean, Flesh Crawler goes off. But, like, yo, that guy is mad. Ooh, got him. Got him with the boop. All right, this was revenge. Right now, if if Renamon lost this game, can we say that Bad Guy is John Wick? Because Renamon killed their dog, and then they just went ballistic. They just went ballistic. I'm tempted to pull this section as a clip as well. We can say Bad Guy. Well, Bad Guy has to win. I don't understand the Wooly Bully. Do we get to... Time out. Do we get to see Wooly Bully's face when he picks the... We see his mouth. Okay, this is probably going to be... the thumbnail, but notably, does Wooly Bully hit with his offhand, actually? Because the hit is happening before this connects. The hit happens before it connects. That's actually kind of funny. Maybe the eyes are covered with fur. I want to know if Wooly Bully is supposed to be like a platypus, because he has duck feet. The bad guy is still mounting an offensive here. 5 keys left for each player. This Gravedigger is somehow still alive. Gets another block. Renamon bringing the content. True. The platypus from Ohio. I can't believe Fleshcrawler is doing something. Yeah, double taps. What you don't realize is in Wooly Bully's offhand, he's just carrying like a prison shank. Yeah, Fleshcrawler standing there. It's a little sus. A little sus. Hashtag got him. And just like that, bad guy's offensive is collapsing. Why Ray? The Ray was to deal with the Hevo 2.0. Like, I mean, the Hevo's not dead, but it's also under 200 health. Largely because Ray hit it for over 900. It's over 900! It doesn't quite have the same ring. Real talk, chat. I know so many... Well, not so many, but I know that's a Dragon Ball Z meme. I've never actually watched Dragon Ball. Oh, why the other Ray? I don't know. You're really questioning the person that goes... Time out. Chat. You're questioning why they put Ray Chargels on the board when this person elected to bank on turn 1 into Cerberus. And you're asking why Ray Chargels hit the board? Come on. Come on now. Like, let's be real. This is a madman, quite clearly. This person just doesn't care. They have nothing to lose. They are just going for it. And you know what's wild? You know what's wild? We're having so much fun, but like, this game arguably was close. I mean, this can't kill this, but like, hypothetically, things could have gone a little bit differently. There are no accidents. From Master Oogway. Wasn't there another Kung Fu Panda movie relatively recently? Or is it getting like a show or something? I remember it coming up again. I've only seen the first one. I know it's one of those movies that just got like 80 sequels, which a lot of animated movies do, believe it or not. There's been a lot of shows. Only 3 movies. A mere 3 movies. Alright, so we're watching the end of Bad Guy. But Bad Guy... Look, you gotta get props. Shout out to Renamon for the cool chain pole play. But Bad Guy with the wild-ass opener. I have to admit, I don't think there was any way Bad Guy was winning with that opener. Like, it's just not happening. In any reasonable world, right? Like, maybe Renamon completely punts, or Renamon is down 80 levels. Alright, so we are doing a repeat because there was time. We have a little bit of time on the stream, so we're going to be going through a number of extras. Normally, we don't do games from people that already got a breakdown that week. But this time, it's the Christmas season. We're feeling generous. That's not really the reason. But anyway, the hero here is Menace, and the notes are, thank you, Hevo. Well, thank you, Hevo. Are you doing your community service here? We'll see what happens. Don't worry, Doge. We're going to get to your other game. I'm confident we will. So, there's a bank to 6 from our hero. What is happening? Is this going to be a turn 2 Hevo? On this map, I don't hate it. Nope, it's a cassowary. Could have done that last turn. Okay, so this is something that's worth discussing. I want to know, in Menace, if you're watching this, because I'm of two minds about this. The obvious reaction is, why did you do this? You could have gone cassowary last turn, turn 1, and ended up with the same board state. Who cares? Or cassowary whenever. But the counterpoint is, well, if you bank, you get your opponent thinking, and you can see what their reaction is. So if they choose to bank, then you can decide, okay, do I put my bigger guy now? Or do I flood the board? Or do I keep banking and keep them thinking? I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting, so. We do get a takedown here on the cat. Chat, we're going with more Good Boy Gaming. Well, you got to actually put your replay in there, Kratosss, for me to do it. And yes, Kratosss, we're going to get to your games. Don't worry. We're just trading Phobies here, but again, I don't understand. This is now 2 games in a row with Cerberus, neither of which I understand why they needed to be here. Seems weird. Now, admittedly, our hero doesn't have control of the board from a panic point perspective, so the Cerberus does have the opportunity to maybe march up, get into position, and do something, but our hero is way more mobile. Clearly, it's hard to be less mobile than a Cerberus. Really, boom? Do you have enough damage to, like, kill this thing? 3,200 health. I highly doubt that. But now you've already derailed, presumably, whatever plan bad guy had. Because what is this Cerberus supposed to be doing? Presumably, it's trying to get onto the heart, but there's still a lot of keys left. The vault is right there. So the Cerberus is going to go in, and even with that much health, it's going to die. It's absolutely going to die. So the question is, what was the purpose? Was it to control the mid? Because there's nothing for it to fight, and you're not pressuring the heart enough on this sort of map that it matters? I don't know, Chad. I really want Cerberus to be a thing. But in a world where you don't have paddles, it just feels like it doesn't... And even with the paddles, we've talked a lot about how Hydra seems to be better. Oh, it's that Hevo. I mean, yes, this Hevo is pretty good. It's probably going to be your MVP. I can definitely see that being true. But in a world without having paddles, or even with paddles, Hydra seems to be a better version of Cerberus because it's cheaper for, like, it's like an 80-20 rule. Now, it's not quite, but basically you put in less effort, but you get the vast majority of the advantage. That is a very oddball position for that. I mean, I kind of understand. Ooh, it dies to the fire. Ouchtown bad guy. The boom is body blocking for this jar, which is fine. I don't really understand why the boom showed up to begin with, but it's whatever. Is the Cerberus going to get back in the... Oh my god, bad guy. Choosing, like, nearly every one-move phobie. It's Team Molasses over here. Look at this. What did... This is just awful. Even get the Clinico here. The Cerberus didn't even move. The game was over as soon as that Cerberus hit the board, right? That's the end of the game. Yeah, I was gonna say, I think you kill this just to reduce the incoming damage. Yeah, I'm with you, Urk. But you missed the earlier Cerberus game. The one that we just looked at was even weirder. Like, super duper weird. But yeah, it's hard for me to say anything, but I think bad guy threw the second that they went Cerberus. Game was over. And we're just watching our hero pick them apart. I mean, they're going to try and do a heart rush here. 2,200 health. It actually has less health at this stage in this Hevo. As long as you can kill the erratic this turn, it doesn't matter. And you can. Absolutely incredible. I don't know, even there's nothing really else to add to this, because we're just going to watch them get taken apart. Well played there, Menace. I mean, Hevo absolutely was great here. But realistically, I think you take this game because of the Cerberus. I hate to say it, but Cerberus is just so bad. Probably could have stood there and stood in its face and kill it. No, maybe not. It might have taken 2 hits. Whatever. The safer play is this. It doesn't matter. That Cerberus is doing nothing. You can just run it down now. Still haven't recovered from the gold pack Doom I got. Haven't touched the game since. I actually just got Doom this season. Haven't used it yet, but I got Doom. Yeah, but Zappy is playable. Not that Doom is unplayable, but Doom is not very good. At least what everybody tells me. End ball game. Down goes yet another good boy. Unfortunately, Cerberus. No. GG. GG. I'm so mad with my gold pack that I decided grinding to get a Dreadful. Who, Cerberus or Doom? Can be decent in some scenarios. I mean, the problem is I remember a game a while back that we reviewed that had a Doom into... Like, our hero was playing a bunch of traps. Bad guy puts a Doom on the board. And the Doom does nothing. Just nothing. And it was just like, okay, that's the explicit... And it was a small map, too. So you could see all the traps, and they were still zoned out because I guess they couldn't eat them all, because I think it was crypto. And it was just like, this is the exact scenario for Doom, and it still didn't work. I don't even know what to say. Alright, we got a Kratosss game here on Fornacified. Heroes, of course, in the orange trunks. Didn't respect the gravy. Almost lost it because I didn't put B-Man in the right spot due to time. Enemy got a fat Ginsting bees. Okay. So it sounds like we get a little Ginsting on Ginsting action later on. We'll have to see. I'm catching up on chat. It's pretty disappointing when I got Doom for my season pack. The next season I got Octonaughty. I mean, Octonaughty is pretty good makeup for that. What if there was a Phobie that powers up over time, aka going Super Saiyan 2? I think that does weird things to the game, given the stalemating nature. I think a lot of games devolve into stalemates, and we can debate about whether they should, but they do. And I think that that would cause problems, even if they are... Even if it was balanced. But it costs keys to power up. Okay, now we're talking something a little more feasible. Like, on paper, that seems feasible. I gotta mull that over, because that's weird. I mean, it is werewolf, but it sounds like Forgo's describing a, like, werewolf on demand, and you can spend keys to get it right now. My initial reaction is that has the potential to be super broken, depending on how, and it all depends on how it works. Because, for example, like, am I getting a Phobie's worth? Like, let's say it was this Phobie, and instead of Fireball, it was press the key, spend 1 key, and you get Razor Mouth like attached to it, essentially. No extra movement or anything. Just you get the health and the damage. So this has a self-heal and a self-damage buff. That sounds like it could be pretty broken. I don't know. Wants to close an eye and switch on my replay? What? I mean, Hakunay, I will look at your replay, but you got to send it. I can't look at it if I don't know what it is. But anyway, let's get back to this game. Alright, anyway, so bad guy goes with, instead of the Gravedigger opener, neither player with Gravedigger openers. We have Snowball Cap in the middle. We get the Murder Wing covering the top, which is interesting. I don't mind this, because I doubt that the Fireball plus a jar will be able to kill the Murder Wing. So this removes the 1 key from the board, which is relevant because, as you can see here, the follow-up is a 1 key in order to recap this mid. So far, so good. Werewolf is the better Hydra, and Hydra is a better Cerberus, and Glob is the better Hydra. Okay, Hakunay. I mean, we'll have time to get to it tonight. So in the meantime, we're supplementing the forces. The jar is kind of normal. Isn't Glob, like, really bad? I don't know. We had... Wait until the replay that it's going to be going up next week of the breakdowns. We had a really cool Glob game on The Floor is Lava that was submitted. I just did the video edits today. Wow, this is bold. Can you kill this? There's no way. Yes, there is a way. Oh my god, Kratosss! This is a sick heads-up play. It's like, why are you going in and breaking this? There's just no way that you're killing this Gonzo Bonzo. I gotta redo it, chat, because people are hitting buttons. This is a sick heads-up play by Kratosss. Why are you going in and breaking this block? There's just no way that you can get this Gonzo Bonzo. But, there is a way. Kratosss wants it. And Kratosss takes it. That's actually, like... Bro thought he could just pull it out and bully like he does in every game. Is this person famous for Gonzo Bonzo? Like that, who was I playing against the other night? That is somebody that was savage. In the chat that was talking about on this map, because I played them on this map and I just happened to queue into somebody that was in chat, and they opened with Jar immediately. And I was like, why did you do that? Because that seems weird. And they go, well, I catch people all the time with it. It's kind of like a skill check. And this is one that I think is a level beyond the typical skill check, because Gonzo is not a fragile phobia. It's not like, oh, I walked up my jar here and you walked your jar into the stim and my jar's dead. Oops. Like, yeah, jar's fairly fragile. Gonzo Bonzo is not a fragile phobia. At least not very fragile. But we'll see what happens, because Kratosss in the notes. I got someone today with the jar play again. Nice. Nice. Okay, yeah, it was you. It was you. I think that a lot of people get caught by that, because it's just like, you don't... I think it's just, oh, well, my vault is safe, right? This is my safe area. And if you come in, you're going to get punished for it. But in this case, oh, this is the mistake? We'll finish my point in a second. Oh, I see. Yeah, I see where this is going. Losing a lot of tempo? Yeah, I could definitely see that. Because I imagine what you were thinking is that the Jin Sting or the jar has to come in to get at your jar. Or did you mean on the previous turn? Must be the previous turn. That's why Fernatsified is a Gravedigger map. You open stuff up. You open stuff for beasts and no weird jokes around. Wait, what? Head guy. Look, I've done this a lot. I've just gotten my pterodactyls annihilated a lot. Don't want to do it. Don't want to do it. Yeah, poor Pterodactyl was right. But yeah, my earlier point is that I think that it is deceptive how much of the map is covered by, say, a jar on the stim. It's like, if you assume that this half of the map is your opponent's half, so it's dangerous, you know, over here. But then they have a jar on here, and it's like, okay, you basically only have this top corner because it's this huge swath, this enormous arc. I think a lot of people just don't realize it. Fat Bees triple kill. I mean, at this point, there's still a number of turns, but this is just Kratosss taking the game. Should. Well, you see the pterodactyl go down. But now you just need to run the jar down. You have a panic point advantage, so there's not. You could actually just walk away. Well, maybe not, because depending on what your health is at after this, they might be able to pull the same jar play on you. I'll take a look at that after the game before we go. I want to... Ooh, this is clever, but are you going to get enough health? Yeah, you actually back up to enough health, but you can probably just punch the heart at this stage. Jar likes to play Ring Around the Rosie. It's not going to help him, though. Doesn't look like it. Yep. Ball game. Well played, Kratosss. That Gonzo play, yes, mistakes later, but the Gonzo play in the beginning, that's why I've said it before that it's not just a matter of, oh, I made a mistake, you made a mistake. Clearly, there's levels to mistakes, you know, losing a 1 key versus losing a bigger set of keys, but also the time that they happen in the game can allow for certain things to happen. How much of the intangibles, like tempo, are you losing when mistakes are made? That was well done. Very well done. So Forgo's idea about a Phobie that powers up, it's also a 2 or 3 for the Phobie limit. Fully powered up takes a lot of keys. As a 2-turn warm-up, 2-turn cooldown. If it's fully powered up, it will become extremely hard, impossible to deal with, but max power is the same amount of keys for the max amount of keys, counting player 2 extra keys. Player 1 will have a discounted Phobie, but will cost the same once fully powered up. What about sacrifice a Phobie of your own to gain its stats and ability? I think that's too complicated for the game. I could see eat one of your own Phobies to just get a static buff. Like, it doesn't matter what you eat, but when you feed it, it will give you plus X plus Y sort of thing to your... Or it has levels, so when you eat one Phobie, it gets plus health. When it eats 2 Phobies, it gets plus damage. Then when you eat 3 Phobies, it gets plus movement range or something like that. I could see that being the case, but... All right, let me update the spreadsheet. We will get to the other Kratosss and dogewhal game. We're going to take a look at the Hakunay one. Alright, so we haven't done a high-level game breakdown in a while, but Shadow Force and Hakunay are basically permanent residents at the top of the arena ladder. I don't really check the async ladder, so I don't know. But anyway. Hey, Taco, what's good? So, the opener here, Shadow Force, pretty standard. We're once again on Moai, and as mentioned, Hakunay is... Or maybe I didn't mention that. It's kind of running together now, chat. We've been looking at a lot of games. We still have 2 more to go. But, Hakunay, hero in the orange trunks... Banking to 7, so this is an interesting response. Why 7 instead of 6? I tend to send a 2 key, but, you know, it's fine. Now, this is also interesting. Bo Mangles here. Bo Mangles is really weird. Because the turrets, as we often bring up, just don't do a whole lot on larger maps for obvious reasons. They're slow. But on this one, I could see it, because inching it down here, it may end up in control of this spot, and it can just shell the heart. We'll have to see. But Hakunay is following up with Evo, still banking the extra 2, staying at 7. Oh, the bow is going on defense alongside Gonzo. Speaking of Gonzo, Twitch is pranking you with the ads. A little womp-womp action there. So we're trading fireballs down here. And the response, Gonzo, we know Hakunay is a big fan of Gonzo. Makes sense. And what level is this Electric at? Level 10 Electric Cat, so it's doing a not insignificant amount of damage to this level 11 Bowmangles. You have the Donkey Kong Country DLC for Mario and Rabbids? Rabbids? Nice. I mean, is that nice? I don't know. I don't know really much about that game. So this is an interesting play. Is this a dead... So this snowball will die to, say, a jar. So this is trading snowballs, but it does... Here's the reason that I think Shadow Force did this. Yes, you're expending a resource in the Gonzo activation. You're going to have to worry about, you know, the Hevo coming in. But this eliminates Hakunay's control of this bottom panic point. So now it's 3-1. And it puts pressure on Hakunay even though Shadow Force is able to try and defend. So it forces some of these things to come back. In this case, it's really a Henrietta, so I don't know how much it matters. But Shadow Force made a mistake here. And that's bye-bye jar. That's just a straight-up error. I can understand why it's positioned there, but clearly the Gonzo was already on the board. There's nothing to threaten this Hevo. At least I don't think. Actually, I take it back. So, hypothetically, you move up. Oh, no, you're only going to yoink to here if... Yeah, there's no way to threaten this Hevo. This Hevo can escape if it wants. The only way that... Yeah, you have to body block it to trap it. Jar was bait, it's not a mistake. Well, that's where I'm trying to explain this. But Shadow Force miscalculates. Okay. Obviously, Hakunay's in chat. So this was the interesting thing that I was in the midst of saying when Hakunay pointed that out, is trapping the Hevo. So you're trading Jar for Hevo, hypothetically, assuming nothing else here dies. But we'll have to see what the miscalculation comes in here. Because it feels like you're trading the Jar and Spider for Hevo. I'm just double checking the numbers. Like, you'd have to Jar up here in order to kill this turn, which obviously then dies to this or this. It's damage from the killing the snowball. Okay. Really want the game to give me more Gonzo Bonzo upgrades, so it's level 9 or 10 because I need it. What level is that Clinico? 12. Still only 279 damage, so not quite enough to take down the Spider right now. I love this Gonzo down here. So is the Hevo gonna go down? Alright, it is in fact enough damage to get the Hevo, but again, this doesn't feel like... So if we assume that the Jar was a bait, that makes sense. Get the Hevo in, trap it. But you trapped it with the Spider, so it's... You're trading Jar and the Spider for Hevo? Is that worth it? Like, is that the miscalculation that you were talking about, Hakunay? It could have been that the damage was miscalculated, because this could have been... I'm just noticing that there's a second Jackalope on here. He missed one extra hit, like, just didn't do a hit, or miscalculated as in required one extra hit. Because if that's the case, what I was going to say is, I have to imagine if one extra hit was available, Moffat would move and survive. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Which is leading into what I was about to say, is that instead of this Jackalope, well, how big was your Hevo? $476, so 8, 9. So what I was going to say is that a Cassowary would have killed it because it would have done more damage. But would it have died to the Hevo, which is possible because this can't die from just the Hevo because it'll get resurrected. But yeah, the extra... I did not count it out, obviously. But I would have assumed that trapping it would have led to a dead spider from that position. We were watching it out. We were watching it play out in, well, I'll say real time, but obviously it's a replay. In that, as Hakunay pointed out, it was not an error, it was a bait for the trap, but as I was trying to explain the trap, it felt like that wasn't worth it. Shadow tried a deep trap, very hard to calculate out in Arena. Absolutely. And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to take any away and be like, oh, well, Shadow's a fool. Why would they do this? I like the idea, but I wonder if, and we'd have to go back and look, we're on turn 14. Like, if we... So this happens, and this goes here. So the question is, if this was a cassowary, and this was here, because ultimately this moves up and hits once, right? This is a 2,000 health, it was already damaged. Then we move forward, and now it's dead. So if this was a... I have to assume that Shadow Force's cassowary does higher damage than this thing. It has to be. So if that's the case, I don't know if that would have been enough damage to kill it. I think it would have. But I have to wonder, like, why... Was it specifically the fear of the Hevo killing the jackalope, or, in my suggestion, the cassowary, and therefore being unable to finish it off? I don't know. Ah, Hakunay. I forgot Hakunay. How the hell did you get this thing to level 11? Didn't you just get this, like, this season, Hakunay? Oh, we get a juiced boss. Now the real fight starts. It looks like it. Boom! Oh, 2 seasons ago. I thought it was this season. Okay, so that's enough time to get it up there. Level 11 Hevo's pretty big. But your fired is down. How big is this boss? That's a lot of damage. A lot of damage. 506. So that's a dead jar. I mean, the jar's already damaged, I forgot. Panic point advantage hero, though. Not for long, because this jackalope's going to sneak up there. Oh, you got it this season, Savadas? Okay. I knew somebody did, and This was a cool pull, though. Get the Gonzo, do an enormous amount of damage to the boss. Body block for the jar, notably, and the Clinico. One of my favorite plays. This boss, oh, baby. Feels good. It feels good as the Hevo player. It feels good. Maybe that's clip-worthy. Spider goes down because Jackalope didn't actually die. So Spider for Gonzo seems bad, but it necessitates the answer Clinico here. And this boss is still going to be out of commission for some time. It's only 1,600 health. That's a good solid amount, but not quite enough to just completely deter our hero if something were to happen. Of course, Gonzo is still live for our hero, so at any point you can just suddenly pour on the damage. That was a weird walk. I don't know. Felt weird. I don't know. Quagmire's the last phobie. 2 keys remaining for bad guy. Fight fire with fire? I mean, yeah. Global warming gaming, it's true, Honda. Your fired should be back online next turn. Yeah. This is interesting placement, putting the Evo out on an island like this. Presumably this is to prevent a advance against the Henrietta. You do get a free shot on this to try and remove some of the damage. Our hero's Clinico is going to come back online faster. I'm trying to see if there's anything obvious with the positioning here of something, see if I can predict what's going to happen, but not standing out to me. It really feels like Shadow Force is on the back foot at this stage. I mean, obviously, there's panic point advantage for our hero. They're in a position to probably defend it at virtually any stage. I feel like it would have been better to have the Hevo one space up and swing the Clinico this way. That would have opened all three of these up to getting hit with your fired, so this is fine. Hence the spread positioning. But we can see the Clinico can't get it. Can Cassowary get it? Cassowary also cannot get this panic point. So it's going to, unless something comes into the middle, this is going to still be a panic point advantage hero. Although we're looking more like this is going to end via Phobie fights. But the second heal comes in for bad guys, and now boss is back up to over 2k. Just barely, but over 2k. Down goes Cowbell. But 0 keys for either player. The loss of Cowbell is really only significant, I think, as primarily to eliminate the Resurrect. But obviously it could be stray damage here or there. Free damage going down on this Clinico. Could have juiced it, but it's not going to matter if that were to happen. This is interesting because the jar is presumably baiting the Cassowary. Clearly the Cassowary is going to eat it. Boss, you're fired here. Really? That's interesting. Why not you're fired there? Can you do it? No, you can't, because you did it in the north. Never mind. That's why they didn't you're fired. Alright, finally the Resurrect Phobie's gonna eat it, or at least I assume. Yeah, the Henriette is dead no matter what, but it is what it is. The panic points are gonna go the other way now. But I still feel that our hero has the advantage for the most part, although this is a very damaged Hevo. Heal is live, though. Henrietta actually saved the 3.0. What would it... Because these couldn't reach, could they? Wait, who hit it? Who hit the Henrietta? Are you saying by killing the... By killing the Resurrect Phobie? The Mopsy? Because these other ones couldn't reach here. Like, there was no way they were getting it this turn. Oh, Gonzo. Could they have gotten it if they just ignored it? So if Henrietta's, like, wherever, it doesn't matter. Oh, not on this turn, you mean? Like, Gonzo would have taken a hit and gotten softened up later on. Or softened up 4 later on. I was getting confused by what you were describing, Hakunay, that's why. But yeah, one less hit on the Gonzo definitely matters. Alright, so what is the answer? We're going in on this bow. I assume bow is not long for this world. There could have been a juice here to damage this further. Your fired is now live. Gonzo running for its life. Yeah, get a little your fired action. Big shock there. So at this stage, the tables have kind of flipped as far as health. This is almost full. This is near death. We don't get the counter trap play on the Evo. Probably wouldn't have made it out alive. Well, definitely wouldn't have made it out alive, and Evo would have been able to escape. Gonzo Bonzo scooting away for his life? Absolutely. So down goes the clown. Just a complete safe repositioning for the Evo. Makes sense. Slowly picking apart Shadow Force's horses. Without being too redundant. The hearts are looking a little bit in danger. 44-41, 25-79. So this panic point advantage is not real. I mean, we know there's only 3 turns left in the game, so it's not that much longer. Not going to end via panic point damage. Or is it? Oh, is it? 4-1 panic point advantage, and this Quagmire. Hakunay seizing the opportunity. Yep. I think Shadow Force sees the writing on the wall. Knows they're not going to get there. I mean, you can make the effort. You can try and blow it up. There were a lot of cool plays in this. A lot of, as described earlier, definitely a good back and forth. Always keep an eye on the hearts. Yep. The Juiced Clinico for the win. Well played, Hakunay. GG. GG. Yeah. I don't know how much more Shadow Force could have done in order to try and prevent that heart rush. You know what I mean? Like, if they... they wouldn't have contended the rest of the board that well, and I think the earlier plays just kind of led to that. I mean, obviously they led to that conclusion. That sounds kind of dumb, but through the earlier plays, it forced the game into a state where that was probably inevitable. But well done. Definitely a cool game. All right, another repeat for you. We got one more breakdown after this. But dogewhal, our hero, says that, bad guy, you have underestimated my power. Let's see what happens here. Doge was very excited for this game to show up. Let's see how exciting it is. We get not a jar opener, not a snowball opener, but cassowary and cowbell. By the way, I risked a huge 3.0 blunder. Later, I did the math with Shadow Force, and we discovered my 3.0 would still survive at 70 HP. What turn was that, Hakunay? For anybody who's curious why I'm talking about the last game, it's worth going back and looking at. I haven't done a high-level game breakdown in some time. I do want to get back to doing that. But as mentioned in the breakdown, Hakunay and Shadow Force are perennials at the top of the ladder. It's worth looking at their games to see where they were and why they did things. And it was cool having Hakunay in chat to be able to, give their commentary about what some of the reasoning is behind it. It's always fun having the people who are involved in the game in chat in general, but especially there where there's a lot of things that can be learned. Is this just a dead, bad guy? Why? I'm telling you, there's something about this map that screws with people's heads, mine included. Don't get me wrong. I make mistakes on I make a lot of mistakes all the time. But this map, it just feels like people don't respect where things can be. And it's just like, oh, I'm just going to walk this thing up here. It's like, but there's a meatball on a jar. I guess they assume maybe the jar is not high enough level or something. I don't know. What everyone else sees is a white, disgusting blob. What I see is Gesundheit, the MVP. When I left 3.0 in front of Shadow's spawn point, Cassowary could have popped out and used the leap. Fair point. I know which turn you're talking about now. It felt like Hevo was kind of exposed there, but I didn't mention it at the time because I kind of assumed that you had done the calculation to be like, okay, I know this is going to live. I should have said that out loud, but... Also, oh, that's for something else. Alright, so Cassowary goes down. Hero gets a pseudo-free pick here. The panic point advantage is for our hero. Bad guy's going to have to stage something with their banked up 6 keys to try and make this happen. They're going to put their faith in Miss Moffat. I don't... This is weird. Baba Yaga. What? Daisy, alright, that's a little more normal, but both players are leaving me curious. I mean, Spider is strong, don't get me wrong. But staging the follow-up, because if you yoink something and then just do nothing, that's not a good yoink, right? What's a cooldown on Yaga? God, why is the cooldown so short? Yeah, you know, even a little miscalculation, maybe a slightly higher level unit and the blunder becomes real. True. Very true. At some point, you start remembering even levels of your opponents for next future battles. Well, you're absolutely right. And that's why I think it's definitely interesting. It's definitely interesting when you, especially at the top levels of ladder play or top level play in general, for a lot of games, you just learn the tendencies and it's playing the player as well as playing the game, which adds another layer to things. And also can make it infuriating to try and understand why things like, why did you do this? And the answer is, well, I know they always do this. It's like, well, no one else is going to know that unless you played them 20 times. So, yeah, I definitely understand that, Hakunay. They're all short. Every trap is a one-turn cooldown. Yes, dogewhal. I was more lamenting the fact that they all do. As soon as I said, what's the cooldown on this? I knew it was 1. But it's like, why? I hate trap phobies. I don't hate them, but, like, I hate them. Baba Haha versus Fire Ant. I'd rather have Fire Ant. Hands down. In almost every situation. It's ranged. It's a lob. Oh, my God. That's a Doom Doom, chat. That's a Doom Doom! You're saying I need more Trap Phobies versus you? Trap Phobies are just frustrating. Oh, God. But they don't know! They don't know! I don't know if you can punish this Doge, but... How much is it going to do? 560? We'll say 1100 plus 5. This could be a dead spider. Just wait. What, do they walk into the other trap too? Get a little Graylien action down at the bottom. I didn't point out the Graylien earlier, but this is a good Graylien pull. Is it, though? Graylien should be... Oh, that's so good. Oh, that's brutal. Well, you gotta appreciate Graylien plays at the end of the day. You get the burrow around the heart for swap on the Daisy, and you may be wondering why do that, because there's a Gesundheit and a Stim Jar right there. But you know what's also right there, right now? It's a meatball. Delivered right to your door, whether your jar wants it or not. So bad guy went Doom Doom. Bad guy went Doom Doom. There's... Did you just see what I saw? Chat, there have been some weird ass plays tonight. There have been some really weird plays tonight. And Muffin targeting Gesundheit, it's up there. Doom Doom is missing every trap. I mean, technically it would have found the other trap, but bad guy went... feels like an obvious trap location, right? On the stim. Because if you put it on a panic point, you're going to step on it with one key, and the one key probably survives. You know, depending on the scenario, but the one key survives, and it basically just eats the trap. But now, like, the one on the stim makes more sense. I don't know. Tell me the spider goes in. I really thought the spider was going to go in for a second. Are we going to get another Switcher U? Baba haha, the traps are any tile you walk on with that cooldown. Yeah, well, I mean, like we were saying before, all of them have the same cooldown, but yes. It feels like the traps are everywhere. I love how you corrected the Baba haha to Baba Yaga. Everyone here on the channel knows what you're talking about when you say Baba haha. You don't need to correct it. But yes, Doom Doom has not discovered a single freaking trap. I don't think Doom Doom has discovered a single trap. The weirder play would be... I mean, yes, there are going to be weirder plays than Muffin and into Gesundheit, but still. You know what would be funny? If Baba Yaga and Fire Ant traps, if you had them set up like this and you set off the middle one, if they set off like a chain reaction, it'd be busted, but... Ah! Oh, here we go. Oh, here we go. Look at this turn. Oh, baby. You may need to look away. This one's going to be graphic. Oh. Good God. Oh, you didn't let him finish with the trap? Still, brutal. You're gonna get switched. Doom Doom decided to not play support today, just wanted to play defender. Doom Doom is just off eating paste. Licking some lead walls or something. I mean, look at Doom Doom. Doom Doom absolutely ate the wrong shrooms. Clearly having a really bad trip right now. Graylien lives. I mean, to be fair, at this point in the game, your opponent can't kill Graylien. I don't think it was possible. Fire Ant is just burning spaghetti. If it weren't for the fact that it had hands on the end of its legs, that might be one of the best comparisons I've seen. When your job requirement is to be on drugs and you take the wrong ones, yeah. A bad day. A bad day. Doom Doom's from one of those dystopian future movies where they just do weird stuff. Like, they give the entire population drugs to control them or something. Doom Doom ate a brick of lead. I don't think he'd be that light on his feet if he did. My man he's smooth. But GG, well done, Doge. Well done. Graylien takes 3 more lives. You should keep a list. Graylien's got his little black book of Phobies that he's taken out. You know what I want to do, chap? I have a shorts thing in my head where I want to do, like, kind of like Wreck-It Ralph, where, you know, in Wreck-It Ralph, they go to the bar, they go to Tappers, and it's just all the people from the various games, they all hang out there. I kind of want to do something like that with Phobies, where it's like all the Phobies know they're in a game, and they're all friends with each other, and then they shit-talk each other when they're in the bar. Like, that's the set of content that I want to make, but I need to script it out. I think it would be fun. Where it's like, oh, you really got me today, but and then Graylien comes in, he's like, no, I did. If this was canon with War of the Worlds, then Greylane should have lost the fight against Gesundheit. True. True. Gesundheit couldn't spread fast enough. He was on one outbreak too late. Yeah, he should have studied up more on the year 2020, I guess. Spud is just spit out, but instead of fertilizer, he has radiation. What? I assume that's the potato from Plants vs. Zombies, but... what makes you say that he's irradiated? Doom Doom is the kind of guy to take a can of gasoline and sniff it. Oh, man. Alright, we got another repeat. Maybe one more game after this, we'll see. But Kratosss is our hero. Tight game, bad guy. Got a huge cat hit and baited, but I managed to pull it back. Henrietta and Bees for the win. Alright. Hey, Gabe, what's good? Sneaking it in at the 11th hour. The living potato with root tendrils. Of course, it's an irradiated potato. Is it, though? I mean, have you seen regular potatoes before? Like, not ones that you just bought at the store? He's really just a figment of your imagination like every other phobie, so, like, let's be real. There's not really much to say about the opener for this. We're getting pretty standard stuff. The jar follow-up is cute. I don't know if Kratosss has, Muffin. Ooh, Innocuous. How are you going to deal with this, Kratosss? This is going to be interesting. Had a game against Karth I wanted to show off, but update broke it. Oh, no. The sheer amount of joy when Chomp laughs at my stupid little jokes. A friend of mine just loves that I laugh at just about everything. I do laugh a lot. I try to. Because the alternative is I'm just going to be angry all the time. Feeling cute, might follow up with a jar late. How do I explain that to your parents? Explain what to my parents? Wait, is that directed at me, Rybread? I don't know what you're talking about. The bad guy gets the spider sniped, getting some pot shots going down onto the Innocuous. You didn't actually have to body block here, but, well, yes you do, because you need a body block to prevent the snowball from coming in, which it isn't actually going to. You don't have Muffin, okay. So down goes the jar. This was ambitious because there's just no way to protect it. I guess you could protect it with this, but no. There's no way to protect it. What's there? So the only way really to protect it would have been to put the... You'd have to have Stabby here. And then you could block with the cat. Like, there was a way, but I think would be really bad. Because the Stabby would just be so vulnerable that it would absolutely die and probably trivially, I guess? I'm not sure. Maybe not. Anyway, panic point advantage, bad guy. They drop out a baby Snakey. Mistakes happen? Yeah. I was just trying to see if there was another option. You getting your hands on Skylanders this year? What do you mean? Yo, Mom, I fought this dude with a voodoo doll and skull with wings and a beehive dude and robot squid and I lost. Oh, you mean how do you explain phobies to your parents? In my dream. If you're a kid, your parents are probably taking you to the doctor at that point. Like, my child is having some very strange dreams. Love the game, but I never actually played it. So why did you love the game if you never played it? I haven't played Skylanders in a very long time. I've watched some of the cartoon. It wasn't bad, but I never really got into it. It was never, like... Alright, so bad guy's in a weird spot. They kind of have to back off the top. This is 8 and 6 is 14. Like, they can kill the Stabby. I don't know if they can pull back this. But by moving the baby Snakey down... I mean, depending on what they do, they could body block the boom. Maybe not. Oh, the boom is dead anyway. I don't know about this, Kratosss, because I guess they have to choose between these two. Oh, for a second, I thought this was going to die. Kratosss' jar is dead, so that jar is safe. I didn't even know there was a 3DS Skylanders. I thought it was only on consoles. That era of little toy statue things was interesting. Bees! Got a little bees action. Bees does end up taking down the jar. Baby Snakey goes down. This is weird, though. So clearly the Bad Omen's going to power this stuff down. That's a big power. That's as good of a power down as you can ask for, right? Kratosss still has 6 keys, but this is looking really bad. I mean, this is a level 9, so it's a 310 power down. Like, look at this. This is doing just barely over 100 damage. Doing 0 damage. Panic point advantage is in favor of our hero, so there is that. Yeah, Phobies described poorly would also be a very funny YouTube video or videos of just describing them. Like, describe a Phobies game poorly. I fought a tentacle monster and a flying meatball. What? What if there was a Void Eater Phobie that insta-kills things by moving onto them that has similar stats as Glob but has a 9 cost? It'd be interesting. I think Glob, the whole concept around Glob deserves more stuff. Oh, Kratosss, no! I can understand not necessarily seeing this one right away. But that's brutal. That's brutal. 0 keys left for both players. Kratosss does have more Phobies quantity-wise. There's no healing coming out for Bad Guy at this stage. This is a fairly damaged Gin Sting, so it's not impossible to wait it out with simply the poison. Obviously, Ted doesn't care. How are you getting out of this, Kratosss? Like, they should have this game. I guess you can... I don't know why they moved up to shoot this Ted. That seemed unnecessary. Actually, to be honest, shooting the Ted lost them this game. Did it? No. Because you could hit it anyway. This is the bottom line. There was no need for them to get involved up here. Just back off. And Kratosss can't really commit in. Ever. The only reason to do this is if you were going to kill the Ted this turn with, like, the Gin Sting. Because imagine if the Innocuous was back 1 and the Gonzo was where it originally started. Or even you move up the Gonzo, but the Innocuous is back. Losing the Innocuous here is huge. Get a little bees action, splash. Bad day. And for nothing, like, Bad Guy got nothing out of that last turn exchange. They got the Henrietta, like, who cares? Yeah, at this point, I mean, your heart is under pressure, but you're not taking that much damage. I mean, this is gonna hurt. Still 1900 health, so it's gonna be close. But if you do the math, I'm assuming the math works out such that you don't die, and this thing just dies to poison. I know, DT. Something died to Henrietta poison. And it won the game. 400 health left. Henrietta poison. We got to stop the Henrietta slander. Now, before we go crazy, though, the Henrietta poison was on a phobie that only had, like, 400 health, and it almost didn't get there. So, we can't get too excited for it, but you can say that the Henrietta poison actually won someone a game. Well done. Well done. Alright, chat. Like I said, we're not going to go beyond this, but just so we can clear out the list, this is the last replay that is in the hopper. Take a look at a Great Ginger Gabe. Alright, last one for the evening. We're zoning in with Great Ginger Gabe as our hero back on Moai. We've looked at a bunch of these games tonight, but the notes for this one were this one. Opponent made one big mistake, downhill from there. Thanks. Well, thank you for submitting the game. And thank you to everybody who submits games. If you want to get your own game shown in one of these game breakdowns, hit up the links in the description. Of course, while you're down there, maybe some likes and subscribes. They definitely help out. Seriously, trying to hit 1,000 subscribers. But we're pushing. We're pushing. All right, so we got a little Gin Sting plus Maggie. Maggie and Cat. Interesting. All right. Unbearable. We actually spent a bunch of time talking about Unbearable earlier tonight. We did see one of the better players, Shadow Force, put a turret on this map. It was Bo Mangles, not Unbearable, but it is notable because I don't really like them on these large maps, including this one. And it absolutely was not used in the fashion that I was expecting it. So it's something to keep in mind, and now I have to look at this Unbearable and go, hey, does this Unbearable make sense in this position? I don't know. Find out. What's the bear doing? The bear is playing defense. The bear is going to lob some rocks onto people's heads. And we also get a little funky chicken action. We got 2 sets of Wolverine claws here. Notably, Fowl has thumbs, chat. Just saying, Fowl appears to have opposable thumbs. How scary would that be? Even beyond... I know the scariest part of it probably is, hey, this is a living undead chicken that can disease me with its seemingly non-existent feathers. Where it's plucking them from, I don't really want to find out. But then you notice it has opposable thumbs, and that's got to be scary too. So, about that bear playing defense. The bear is locking down the center of the map. That is a bold move, Cotton. Notably because I imagine this bear is dead. I have a hard time believing that this bear survives. Why does the chicken move like it's Grinch? Because he's sneaky. Look at... Timeout. Like, look at Fowl's feet. You're telling me that that thing is not soft on its toes? Come on. Come on. This is not the thing that goes bump in the night. I mean, it is. But this is the horror movie monster that absolutely is completely silent. You have no idea where it is, and then all of a sudden it drops a feather on your head, and you die of, like, Ebola. Or, like, the bubonic plague, and it happens immediately. Oh my god, it's a Droney Assassin, chat! When was the last time we saw a Droney Assassin? Oh, man. This must be the turn that... Oh, my God. Chat, look at this turn. Gabe. You savage. I mean, bad guy was taking a chance here with their Phobies lives because, oof. We get this beatdown going down on Unbearable, which we spent some time talking about earlier tonight, is a fairly tanky phobie. A fairly tanky phobie, but we get the Droney Assassin, which we haven't seen for some time. But that's not all. We also get the follow-up Snowball, and then on top of it, a little Maggie Chomp Chomp. Ouch down population, bad guy. You're telling me if there was a phobie that would be beast for killing me at night, it would be this son of a bitch tiptoeing in my room, give me the Freddy Krueger treatment? It might, or it might be a little more delicate and just dropping feathers on your head, and then you're going to have a really pained exit for this world. Val has been headless for so long, the skin where his neck is healed and the tissue blocks the wound off. Oh boy. That feather. That feather that just came out. So we get, the answer is erratic out of bad guy. 10 keys banked for our hero. Finally the disease, speaking of feathers, hits Jin Sting. Okay. Yeah, see, even the idle animation eventually, like, sometimes he flicks a feather off. This is just a dead fowl, isn't it? Yeah, the feathers are growing on the inside. How creepy is that? Are you going to kill the sheep? Interesting. Oh, no, there we go. I was going to say, like, you're not going to leave that alive, are you? Okay, that's enough. I wasn't sure if this was going to be enough. And Chuck, this has got to be the nail in the coffin. Like, do we even need to watch the next 6 turns? This game was over on that one turn. You can't lose that many keys and that much tempo and come back. It's just verging on impossible. Panic point advantage, phobie advantage, key advantage, probably a hard health advantage. Bad guy, bad day. Exactly, Rybread. That's why foul is scary. And it has thumbs! Chuck laying the beat down on his undead brethren here. Nothing is safe. Nothing is safe from, from the great Ginger Gabe's wrath. Get a little Blulian action. Theory, the funky chicken is actually inside out and all its insides are feathers. So are you saying, like, its lungs and intestines are made of feathers, or are you just saying the feathers grow inside? So the Hevo is going to go down, but I don't think Gabe is too choked up about this. Neither with this Jin Sting. There's a Chuck controlling the board. Like, let's be real. It doesn't matter. This is going to die. The only question is, will the Spud die? Probably not, but I guess it's not impossible. So you could have done that in the other sequence so that way the cat ends up getting pulled onto the center point. There's an argument to leave it here because you can get their phobies faster, but, I mean, it doesn't matter. There's nothing bad guy can do. That turn was absolutely savage. That turn was absolutely savage. Gabe just brutalized this poor person. This is one of those where, if I was playing it, my opponent would snap their opponent in half, throw their phone in the toilet, and uninstall Phobies. Maybe not in that order, but... GG. Well played, Gabe. Well played. That was fun tonight, chat. That was fun. We had a lot of fun games. But, all good things must come to an end, and as such, so is the stream. So, that'll do it for tonight, chat. We'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow's variety night. I'm still debating what we're going to play. We'll see. We'll see. But let me know. If you're not part of the Random Thoughts Discord, or you want to see some Phobies action live and you're catching this on YouTube, hit up the links in the description, likes and subscribes. You know the deal by now. If you're watching this live, give me a like and subscribe anyway. Or hit the notification bell. You know, that sort of stuff. You know the deal. But we're going to call it for this evening. So as always, everybody, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. No! Lives matter.